Today, we're progressing this lowrider project to its next stage of life, which involves some silver paint, a whole lot of masking tape, and a ton of metal flake. All right, so full disclosure, it wasn't a literal ton of metal flake. It was actually about 1.5 pounds, but it seems like a lot when you find it everywhere, in your pockets, all over your clothes, in your hair, places you've even thought about walking for the next several weeks. Basically what I'm trying to say is metal flake is the painter's equivalent to anti-seize, but I digress. In last week's video, we got the car detrimmed, disassembled, we got the body work done, got it in primer. This week, we're gonna sand the car all the way up to 400 grit, get it all prepped and cleaned, mask it up, lay down some silver paint and obviously metal flake, and then begin the layout process, show you a little bit what that looks like. So let's get to it.
First off, if you're new here, welcome, and if you're back from the first video in this series, welcome back. Whatever the case, thank you for being here and watching, and if you want to see me tackle more builds, a big way to support is like, comment, and subscribe. As a prompt, let me know in the comments how you found this video today.
Okay, so mostly everything is sanded and scuffed down, ready to be cleaned. I just have to touch up a few spots along the belt moldings on the doors there. And these two little bumper filler pieces. But once those are done, we'll clean it all up and start masking. All right, at this point, we need to do the initial clean off and wipe down after blowing it off. So this is stage 1 wipe with window cleaner and a clean microfiber.
Alright, here's just a snippet of the masking process. If you're curious or want to see more complete time-lapse of masking up a car, I did a video on it. Go ahead and check it out. It's in the card, and I'll link to it below as well. But with that, let's move on to the next step. After wiping 2 more times with cleaners, time to get that last wipe with a tack cloth and let some paint fly. First, I'm starting out, as you see here, with a white base, and that does 2 things for this car. 1, it acts as a sealer to help hide those graphics and the repair areas, and 2, it'll allow me to use a lot less base coat color to give me full and even coverage. One of the colors I'm using on the car calls for white as a base, so while I was spraying it over the graphics, I just did it where I'm going to be putting that color as well. So now that everything's flashed off, go ahead and mask that off and get ready for this silver. And for the silver, I used a GM color that they used back in the 60s called Cortez Silver. It's a very fine mica, very fine metallic, but that doesn't really matter because I'm putting a bunch of huge flake over it.
Just realized the camera hasn't been recording this whole time, but we're having a party. It's a glitter party.
Just look at that coverage and saturation. I mean, that's just enough to make a disco ball jealous. Look at that. You can't even tell what color I started with. But in case you're wondering, the products I use to apply the flake are these. I have a Flake King 1000 dry flake gun that's basically a fire hose for flake, and through it I put a mix of silver bullet and 50/50 flake from a company here in Arizona called Paint Upper.
Alright, the disco party is just getting started. We got all the flake on the car, 2 coats of Intercoat Clear over the top, and as soon as it is ready to be taped on, we'll start laying out graphics and move on to the candy, graphics, all the other fun stuff.
When it comes to graphic layout, it is imperative for me to sketch out my ideas first. This just helps me keep the ideas consistent and act as a guide to what parts are going to be over and under and where to shade, etc. You'll see me putting little pieces of tape in seemingly randomly spots, but I use the widths of the masking tape as much as I possibly can to measure off of body lines to keep everything consistent and evenly distanced. For times I can't do that, however, I do have a flexible tape measure that I'll be using here in this next little clip.
Okay, so that's where I'm going to call it for this week. I'm just giving you little glimpses of each step along the way to get the car where it needs to go. If there's any part of the process that you're more interested in or want to see more in-depth video done, just let me know in the comments. Happy to do that. I do these projects all the time, so not a big deal to shoot another one down the line. Next week is when we'll get to see all the candies, all the pearls, everything come to life, get it all finished, shiny, and we'll actually get to go to the Arizona Super Show and see the car in the show, along with a handful of other cars I've had the opportunity to work on, and I believe the first lowrider paint job I did will be there as well. So stick around for that. That's coming in the next video. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.